Hey, true believers, England Teen here. It's one of my favorite times of the year. This is the fourth biannual GABBY Awards for Worst Comic Book of 2019, January to June. And it's pretty simple. We chose, along with a panel and the comment section of a live stream, we chose what are the worst comic books of 2019 up to this point. Now it's time for you to vote. Voting is really simple. I put the list of all the nominees in the description below. All you've got to do is cut and then paste it into the comment section. Just eliminate everything you don't choose. Easy peasy, you just voted. Even if you're a little bit like, I don't know, I didn't read any of these. Maybe you heard about something, but try to vote for as many categories as you can because that's always fun. My fun comes Wednesday afternoon when I'm tallying up all of the votes, but the show itself will be Wednesday the 19th, so by all means, check out that show as well. But once again, don't forget to vote. The first category is the worst fall from grace. This is something like all the way up to January. They could have been awesome, but then for some reason in 2019, they're just not anymore. Something's wrong. Something's off. It could be character. It could have been a person, a writer, an artist, anybody. So these are the nominations we chose for worst fall from grace. Jonathan Kent. He was fun in Adventures of Super Sons. Tomasi was writing him awesome. Then Brian Michael Bendis got his hands on him, aged him up for some reason, and took all of the charm. Mark Russell, a writer of comic books like The Flintstones and Snagglepuss, where you're thinking, no way I'm going to like these, but he made them deeper than they should, and then he does The Wonder Twins and kind of hits a wall. Tom King, man, people were talking about him like he was the second coming with the beginning of Mr. Miracle and the start of the Batman run, but it seems the longer he stays on a book, the less interested people get. Wally West. Wally West was the Flash for almost as long as Barry Allen was, but since they brought back Barry Allen, DC doesn't seem to know what to do with him except for ruin the character. Young Justice. Obviously, most people know it from the cartoon. The comic book was cool. This year's comic book seems to be trying way too hard. Next up, we have worst character misrepresentation. It's pretty easy. You're reading the comic book and you're like, I don't know who this character is supposed to be, but it sure ain't him or her. Batman during his own series in the Nightmares run. Granny Goodness in Female Furies. Thor in his own title, Thor. Tony Stark in Tony Stark Iron Man. Wally West in Heroes in Crisis. Next up, we have worst event comic. Gotta admit, they said they were going to cut down on events. There's only 4 of them this time to vote for, so let's get to it. Marvel's Age of X-Men. DC Comics Event Leviathan. Marvel Comics The War of Realms. And DC Comics The Year of the Villain. Is an artist or a writer on a title for far too long? Is a character just in way too many books? That means they've overstayed their welcome. So here's the nominees. Brian Michael Bendis for Superman. Captain Marvel. DC Comics co-publisher Dan Didio. Gail Simone on Domino. Tom King on Batman. Ever have that moment where you're reading a comic book and you see a scene and you're like, I can't believe they did that. That was absolutely stupid. Here are the nominees for worst comic book scene. The Darkseid led and judged cake baking contest / bikini contest in Female Furies. Hal Jordan claiming that he doesn't know what will is in Heroes in Crisis. Jonathan Kent returning home as an almost fully grown teenager in Superman. Granny Goodness killing Darkseid's mother in front of him just to get a book in Female Furies. And The Death of Lagoon Boy by Wally West, which is retconned later in the series. Sometimes you have a writer and they just will not allow a character to be a fully fledged human being, but instead they reduce him to a trait or to a demographic. These are the nominees for worst social justice warrior-oriented comic book. Captain Marvel. Female Furies. Ignited. Man-Eaters and The Wonder Twins. Here are the nominees for Worst Storyline in an Ongoing Series. Force Quest in The Flash. Batman Nightmares. Nightwings in Nightwing. 7 Crises in Young Justice. And Unity Saga Part 2, The House of L. I get it, they've got to try. They got to put out some new books. Here you go, the worst new ongoing series in 2019, from January to June. Captain Marvel from Marvel Comics. Champions from Marvel Comics. The Magnificent Ms. Marvel from Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics Presents from Marvel Comics. And Young Justice from DC Comics. Before we go on, I'd like to remind you, if you like the channel, by all means, please click like and share, hit subscribe if you haven't done it already, ring the bell, but most importantly, leave a comment. That way it'll help the algorithm. If you don't mind helping the channel, going over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi. Not only can you just drop $1 in the till as usual, but I'm doing commissions now, so you can control the channel by picking one of the topic videos here, and I will do basically whatever you want so long as it's within the guidelines. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that, and let's continue. The next category are the one-shots, or the one-issue story within a ongoing series. And the nominees are Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Freshman Force. The Avengers, The Edge of Infinity. Batman number 69. For those of you who read Batman, this is the one where they're dancing around to music. Yeah, okay. And the one where Naked Bane beats up Thomas Wayne. There you go. Captain Marvel, Braver and Mightier. And finally, Superman Leviathan Rising number 1. Worst new miniseries. Now, this is not a series that was an ongoing series. They realized it's going to fail, so they said, okay, we're stopping at 6 issues. This is actually the books that were set out to be miniseries. And the nominees are Female Furies, Heroes in Crisis, Hulk Verines. Yes, this was a thing. Major X, and The Wonder Twins. This one is always weird, but I can understand it. I can't draw, but still, I'm going to give you nominees for Worst Artist of 2019, January to June. Adrian Mello for Female Furies. Brent Peoples for Major X. Eric Larson for Savage Dragon. Michael Fife for G.I. Joe, Sierra Muerta. And Robert Rodriguez for Goddess Mode. Can't have art without someone telling people what to draw. So here are the nominees for Worst Writer of 2019, January to June. Brian Michael Bendis on Superman. Cecil Castellucci on Femme Fatales. Dan Slott on Tony Stark, Iron Man. Tom King on Batman. And Zoe Quinn for Goddess Mode. Here are the nominees for Worst Independent Comic Book from January to June 2019. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Freshman Force. Hit Girl in Hollywood. Ignited. Oh, It's Kim and Kim. And Maneaters. Here are the nominees for Worst Marvel Comic Book, 2019, January to June. The Age of X-Men storyline. Captain Marvel. Major X. West Coast Avengers. And The Unstoppable Wasp. Here are the nominees for Worst DC Comic Book, January to June 2019. Batman. Female Furies. Heroes in Crisis. Superman. And Young Justice. All right, here we go. Doesn't matter. Is it a miniseries, a one-shot, an ongoing? Is it Marvel? Is it DC? Independent? Doesn't matter. These are the nominees for the absolute worst comic book of 2019 from January to June. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Freshman Force. Batman. Captain Marvel. Female Furies. G.I. Joe Sierra Muerta. Heroes in Crisis. And Superman. There you go, gang. Those are the nominees. You may have noticed we had more of the worst comic of the year. We just couldn't break it down to 5, so we left 7 in there. There you go, gang. Don't forget to vote. I'm going to put a list of the nominees in the description below, so you just cut and paste them into the comment section and eliminate the ones you are not voting for, and that will leave the list of the ones you are. I'd like to thank everybody for watching and for voting. Please don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Don't forget to comment with your vote, and that will help our algorithm as well as get your vote in. That's the most important thing. Next week, Wednesday, at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on I Love Comics, we are going to do the show, and you will find out the winners. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Don't forget to go on over to Ko-Fi and get your commissioned video, or to Patreon. Just drop $1 in the till on either one of them. You don't have to go and buy the video, but it's awesome if you do. And also, we've got an Amazon store, so you can go over there and buy something. You get something, we get something. The world's a happy place. Don't forget to check out the Extreme Movie Show every Sunday, and we do Top 10 Tuesdays every Tuesday, so that's a lot of fun. And then the Homegrown Tourist, thank everybody who's already done that and checked everything out and bought a video, the whole 9 yards. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.